Good afternoon and welcome to Concordia Stadium here on the campus of Concordia University, Chicago, as we get set for some non-conference women soccer between your Concordia University Chicago women's soccer team and the same team, the women's soccer team from CUC College. Peter Borkowski here on the Cougar Sports Network, joined by Dave Dimeling. And Dave, it's not only a beautiful day for soccer, this is like pitch perfect weather. It's senior day for these Cougars, the squad honoring 7 of their seniors for the contributions they have made to the team over the past, 3-4 years, however long they have been here. So before we even get to the teams who are about to walk out for starting lineups, I mean, you've been through senior days on the baseball team. I've been through senior days too. I mean, it's it's an understatement to say that a lot of emotions are flowing on days like this.
Definitely, definitely. I think one of the things that you kind of notice on a day like this is you kind of take for granted all those moments with those seniors throughout the year, throughout their careers, and then sometimes for a lot of players, it kind of just hits you on a day like this where you kind of give them their proper send off. Obviously, for the women's soccer team, they still have plenty of games left, so it's not quite a send off, but it definitely is coming towards the end of their careers, rather.
Well, the two squads, Co on the left, CUC on the right, are walking out for starting lineups. So we're going to get those starting lineups and the national anthem played. And then when we come back, we'll have some Division III women's soccer action for you. Co versus CUC on Senior Day here at Concordia. We'll be right back on the Cougar Sports Network for the start of today's game. The national anthem has been played and the starting lineups have been read. Let's go through them one more time for everybody watching at home. First, for the visiting Cohawks of College, it is number 2, Rebecca Allers, number 5, Eliana Manning, number 7, Maggie Pruce, number 11, Sage Schwartz, number 12, Mac Adams, number 13, Sarah McCowan, number 16, Rylan Helfelfinger, number 22, Ainsley Barnes, number 24, Indigo Torres, and number 29, Maya Schweiger. In goal for the Cohawks is the sophomore, number 00, Lily Monroe. Coaching staff for the Cohawks, student manager is Kyra Phillips. Volunteer assistant is Ella Weber. The assistant coach is Lexley Reindernecht. And the head coach of the Cohawks is James Kulata. Now the starting lineup for your Concordia University Chicago Cougars. It is number 3, Allie Brown, number 4, Mia Hirayama, number 6, Jacqueline Cassis, number 9, Pamela Saldivar, number 11, Itzel Calderon, number 12, Valeria Fernandez, and number 17, Melika Kenworthy, number 23, Julissa Diaz, number 28, Madeline Georgopoulos, and number 33, Lorena Jaimez. In goal for the Cougars is number 00, Brooke Sheriff. Coaching staff for the Cougars, the assistant coach is Ben Kurtz. Graduate assistant coach is Shelby Sims. And head coach of the Cougars in his 3rd season at the helm is Coach Eddie Garza. Well, Dave, let's take a look at what these two teams have done so far. Let's start with the College Cohawks. 0-2 on the year, open up the season on the 1st of this month, a 3-0 loss at Grinnell, and then most recently lost on Wednesday 2-1 against a fellow NAC school for the Cougars, Edgewood. So this is a team who maybe he's going to need some offensive production here. They're going to need some offensive production, I should say. Offensive production they have been missing. They've been outscored 5-1 in their first 2 games. So it's going to be interesting to see what Coach Kulata and the Cohawks can do here against a Cougars defense who I'm sure we're going to talk a lot about in a couple minutes here.
Definitely. Before we get to the fantastic Cougar defense that we've seen this year that they've showcased, the Cohawks overall, they're going to need to showcase some offense today as you take a look at what they've done this year as well as a little bit from last year. They've kind of had some offensive struggles, to say the least, especially at the end of last year. Last year in conference play, they had a really tough showing overall as they were shut out their last 4 games of the season overall, all in conference play. So you wonder what the kind of adjustments they made through the offseason, what the overall roster changes have been made, but definitely got to see what they have to offer on the offensive side.
Well, before we get to the Cougars, if you're wondering what just happened here, Cougars had possession to start the game, and they gave it to the Cohawks, who kicked it out of bounds so that CUC can sub out 2 of their seniors. That was Jacqueline Cassis as well as Julissa Diaz, who are, as kind of tradition, getting the start for their senior day. Coach Garza, wants to get now his matchups in that they got that start. So College kind of doing the right thing, just kicking it out of bounds, let the Cougars sub out 2 of their seniors. They get a little bit get a moment to themselves, get hugs from the teammate, all that good stuff. Yeah. Again, it is senior day. Cougars honoring 7 seniors who I'm sure we'll talk about throughout the broadcast. But as action moves down to the end of the field, let's talk about this Cougars defense because, Dave, it's been the story of the season so far. 3 games on the year for the Cougars, 4 goals allowed, maybe a little deceiving because those 4 goals all came in their season opener against Augustana. Lost that one 4-0. Since then, 1-0 against Spalding, and then a 2-0 win against Ripon. This is a Cougars defense who they're firing in all cylinders right now.
Yeah, definitely, Peter. I think they've kind of showcased a lot overall. They've been fantastic, not only on the last line of defense, but also the keeper. Mm-hmm. I mean, you talk about Brooke Sheriff. She's been lights out. Besides that first game, she kind of got pulled after a short period of time, 10, 15 minutes into the game.
Right, and not to cut you off, Coach Garza did clarify, basically, she got cleated early on, and it was more of a precautionary, hey, let's not hurt our starting goalkeeper in game 1. So that's why she only played minutes against Augustana. But continue with your point, Dave.
Yeah, of course. She's kind of just been lights out overall ever since coming back from that. Coach did mention that very tough kind of player overall. She was able to come back from the cleat incident without any issues, come back, play the next 2 games, and kind of lights out. She actually won Conference Defensive Player of the Week based on her showing out against Spalding.
Yeah, that was announced this past Tuesday to NAC Defensive Player of the Week thanks to her 10-save shutout against Spalding. Just a immaculate game from Brooke Sheriff. I mean, her team gave her one goal, and that is all she and the defense needed. Didn't have to work as hard against Ripon, only had to make 2 saves, still earned her second straight shutout, though. So Brooke Sheriff so far on the season, 189 minutes played and 59 seconds. 1 goal allowed, 12 saves, a 47 goals against average, and a .923 save percentage. So, goalie I think was an interesting position a little coming into the season, Dave. Last year's goalie, who was an all-conference member, Alani Burnell, no longer with the team. And Brooke Sheriff played well last year, but that was in a secondary role to Burnell. Sheriff has taken over the starting job and done it in flying colors. So Sheriff is providing much stability at that back line of defense. As for the field, the game on the pitch, Koa throw-in never really worked its way inbounds, goes out, so CUC will get a throw-in deep in their own end now as they find Allie Brown. Allie Brown working with it, kicks it in front of her own bench. It'll go to Itzel Calderon, former all-conference member for CUC a few seasons ago. Is playing in her last year with the Cougars. She got a senior day last year, however, before she decided to return, which is why she's not being honored today, but still a very valuable final year player for CUC.
Yeah, the Cougars got a couple standout players that will not be returning next year that are making a positive impact on the young class as well. You can see through these first 3 games, the kind of showing between just the mix of overall age in the lineup, and I think it's helping a ton overall. As you're getting to see the youthful exuberance overall of them kind of excited out there on the pitch all day. And then also you get to see some of that experience overall of what it looks like to have played 3, 4, potentially 5 seasons of collegiate athletics.
Yeah, this is a very well-rounded for Coach Eddie Garza in his 3rd season. We're really starting to see his team take place as the last remnants of the previous coaching regime are starting to slowly work their way out of the system. I mean, I'm not sure exactly where the recruiting classes line up, but I believe, and don't quote me on that this senior class, I believe, will be the final class that was not, entirely recruited by Coach Garza. So it is, the last coaching regime there. The pieces they put in place are coming to their end, and we're seeing Coach Garza's team really start to take hold here with all that youth that Dave mentioned. And so far, it has been paying dividends early in the season as CUC already 2 wins on the year as this ball will work its way to the right of Coe's goal.
Yeah, Coach Garza, the classes that he's brought in and the talent that he's put on the pitch this year has just definitely looked cleaner overall as opposed to his first year or first couple seasons overall. He's kind of been able to finally implement his overall game plans, and then now it's kind of like it's not teaching new things. It's more so just a little refresher at the start of the season. That way they can focus on adding even more tactical ideas overall and just no longer have to go over the basics of what his game plan looks like.
Yeah, again, it's starting to become his team. Now he's got a couple years in. He's got a couple recruiting classes in. It is quickly, we are starting to see Coach Garza's team really shine here. That strong defensive play that we saw all of last year. The big question mark was always, is the offense going to show up? You would see this team lose games 1-0, games that were very winnable if the offense could put up consistent production. There were at least, I believe, 2 0-0 ties, which quite unusual, but we're starting to see that a bit more so far this year. Coach Garza's goal totals are just getting better game by game. 0 goals in the opener against Augustana, 1 versus Spalding, and then 2 versus Ripon. So this offense is slowly starting to put the pieces together as well because the defense has been strong dating back to last season. So it's just going to be, can that offense find that consistent production?
Yeah, I think, too, it's also not just about just it's obvious easy to look at the just overall total goals in each game, but I think it's more about not just finding the net, but kind of getting your shots up, too, is you're just kind of due to put one into the back of the net when you get enough shots and you're on the offensive end enough. In their first win this year, they only had 1 shot on goal. That was their 1-0 victory over Spalding. But you kind of look at the second half of last game against Ripon. They started to find their groove a little bit too. They got 9 shots in the second half, but only 2 in the first. So it's kind of just finding the groove. And it's interesting enough that they're able to still win these games while they're still trying to find what it looks like on the offensive end.
Mm-hmm. As Ripon throwing deep in their own pitch, half of the pitch, I should say. CUC doing what we've seen all season, which was just continuously pressure the opposing team. They really don't give any easy breaks into their own end of the pitch, as this ball is going to roll all the way down to the CUC goal box, where Sheriff will decide to kick it rather than put some hands on it. Here's Mia Hirayama, a freshman out of Hawaii, as she is quickly becoming one of the mainstays of this lineup. She's seen some major minutes in her first year, has played in all 3 games for Coach Garza so far. Doesn't have any stats to show for it, but it's that strong midfield play that Coach Garza really likes out of Hirayama, as we're going to get our first corner kick of the day, and it will be the Cohawks. So a chance to maybe get some offense going. This is a team who spent a lot of time in their own end of the pitch so far this game. See what they can do here on their first corner. Curving towards the box. Someone gets a foot on it, and it's just going to bounce safely into the hands of Sheriff. Looks like it was maybe a deflection. Nothing major on that. Easily enough for Sheriff to handle there. As we see a Cohawk take a couple stumbles. That was number 12, Mac Adams Jr. Out of Centennial, Colorado. Looks like she might have just lost her footing there.
Yeah, only thing that probably hurt a little bit was maybe just a little embarrassed overall, but nothing else to worry about.
And now we see a Cougar hit the turf, and it is Hirayama, I believe. Trying to get a read on the back of her jersey. It is Hirayama, and Dave, I'll tell you, you weren't on the call for Ripon, but you were here in the booth working the camera, so you saw it too. You even saw it in their first game against Spalding. Hirayama is a tough player out there for CUC. She took multiple tumbles against Ripon. She collided with Elle Wheelock, her own teammate, when they were chasing a ball out of bounds, and yet the trend that we are seeing with Hirayama is no matter how many times she gets knocked down, no matter how much time she spends on the turf, she eventually works her way back up.
Yeah, of course. The freshman from Hawaii just plays with a lot of grit, a lot of heart. She's not willing to lay her body on the line. She has no issues with doing that to help the team in any way. That's what you love to see, especially out of a young talent, too.
As this ball working its way out of bounds, it will go out. Last touch by the Cohawks, throwing it in is Elle Wheelock, another freshman who's seen some major minutes for Coach Garza and his squad, as Hirayama chases it down. Wheelock did not earn the start today, but that was likely due to get some of those seniors their starts during senior day. She's one of the early substitutions for Coach Garza, as the Cohawks do control it, trying to work it out. It is Maggie Pruce trying to control it. She'll knock it up ahead, a little give-and-go action, but the Cougars trying to intercept it as the ball is working its way towards the Co bench. Emily Brown had it for a second. Good turnover force there by Co. Still in control of it. As we will now get a throw in for the Cohawks. Cohawks wearing their crimson red jerseys, I want to say. Kind of close to maroon. I do like the color combo of their version of red with the gold.
Definitely. I think it looks very well on this Saturday afternoon.
Very sharp kits for Co. Their goalie, Monroe, wearing the turquoise top with black shorts. Meanwhile, CUC in their traditional home whites with maroon lettering. And Brooke Sheriff, as we've seen in the previous 2 games, wearing the highlighter yellow goalie kit. CUC attacking right to left to start here. Co left to right. As here's a deep throw in for CUC. Brown, I believe, got a foot on it as it is working its way back towards the sideline. There's Saldivar to pick it up. Ball still loose, and now a kick towards the Co bench. There's Hymas. Hymas knocks it right back towards the Co box as these 2 teams just playing a bit of ping pong, knocking it back and forth from the same areas. Now Co tries to get possession. They kick it back to their defensive line. Ball up ahead, trying to handle it is Indigo Torres, sophomore out of Omaha, Nebraska. Co-located over in Iowa, as here's a knock towards the goal. It's going to be a race for it, and coming out is Monroe. Good box out there by Ainsley Barnes to keep the CUC attacker Fernandez from getting there. Throw in right at mid-pitch, a little over mid-pitch now for Wheelock. Finds Quetzale Arteaga Vasquez, sophomore for CUC, who got plenty of playing time last year as a freshman. And CUC handles it at mid-pitch. A little bit of a foot race going on here off the far sideline. Co, they're just going to knock it out of bounds, give their defense a chance to reset here as CUC continues to put the pressure on in the Co offensive end of the pitch.
Yeah, Co-Hawks more so less focused on clearing it, keeping it back, putting it back on the offensive side, more so focused on just getting it out of play, taking a breather in between.
I think this is partially what CUC's done so far is, they say the best defense is a good offense, and argue at that point if you will, but for CUC it's been working this year. Their defense has been playing strong. Brooke Sheriff has been absolutely excellent. Here's a centering kick towards goal. Ball still loose. It's just going to keep on rolling and will finally be kicked out by the Co-Hawks. A dangerous ball there. Luckily for Co, no Cougar got their foot on it. But part of what's made CUC's defense so strong is the continuous offensive pressure they put on the opposing team. As we can talk about that more in a second. We got a corner kick coming up here. CUC, they scored their first goal against Ripon off a corner kick. It was Julissa Diaz, one of the seniors, being honored today, who got the header off the beautifully placed corner kick. As now it was Pamela Saldivar who was the sender of the corner. As here's another corner attempt for CUC. A header by Co knocks it away. Saldivar is going to have to race for it as she gets there first. Saldivar trying to center it. Ball loose, and it's going to bounce to Monroe. That was Itzel Calderon in hot pursuit, but the sophomore Monroe coming out to make the play. Monroe, so far this year out of New Berlin, Wisconsin, has played 180 minutes, all 180 minutes of action for Co so far this year. 5 goals allowed, 11 saves, 2.5 goals against average, and a .688 save percentage, as Co's entrusting the safety of the goal to a underclassman, kind of out of necessity. Both the goalkeepers on their roster are underclassmen. Monroe, the sophomore, and then you have Chloe Orendorf, a freshman out of Gaines, Oklahoma. So 2 underclassmen, and Coach Culata electing to go with the senior underclassman in the sophomore Monroe. As here's a header from Jaimes. It'll go out. So deep throw in for Co to see if the Co-Hawks can get some much-needed offense going here.
Yeah, they haven't spent a whole lot of time on the offensive side of the pitch, but we'll see what they're able to do with one of these opportunities right here.
As they get a pair of subs checking into the game for the visiting Co-Hawks. No shots yet for Co. CUC with 1. Haven't found the net yet. As here's a throw in towards the corner. Ball still knocked around, and now this ball is going to be launched down pitch. It's going to stay in bounds momentarily. It's headed out by Co. So CUC will have a throw in right on their side of mid pitch, about equal with the 45-yard line on the football field. As that throw in, I think, nailed Calderon. A little collision there too. Maybe the Co-Hawk got a piece of her, but Calderon caught a piece of something on that throw in.
Looks like a little bit above the shoulders there. Tough spot to get hit.
As another ball sent out. So a throw in here for the Co-Hawks right at the end of their bench. And speaking of the Co bench, a little shorthanded compared to CUC. I'm counting correctly. I see 6 players sitting on their bench. I believe that's another player right behind the bench standing up. So 6 or 7 players in the reserves for Coach Kulata. Meanwhile, you look at the CUC bench, and it's a lot more than 6. Let's put it that way. This is a deep team that Coach Garza has compiled. He's talked about his depth and being able to use that to his advantage, not having put out the same 10, 11 players out there every single game, every single minute. And that keeps his team nice and fresh. As ball mid-pitch, CUC trying to get control. Hirayama with it now. She's going to work it backwards. Here's Saldivar. Saldivar up ahead, right in front of Coach Garza and the rest of his coaching staff. And ball knocked out towards the coaching staff. Nice catch there by Ben Kurtz, assistant coach for Coach Garza. As another ball knocked out, CUC a good throw-in opportunity here on Co's half of the pitch. As we're under 28 minutes to play here in the first half. Uneventful so far, just 1 shot total coming from the Cougars. Did not find its way to goal, as neither of these goalies has had to work in the save category yet. They've made a couple plays each, grabbing some loose balls, but nothing in the save category so far for Monroe and Sheriff. As a high ball, good header there from Malika Kenworthy, a senior, as here comes Allie Brown trying to work through collision there. Valerie Fernandez. Here Artiega Vasquez. She gets muscled off the ball. Good defense there by Co. CUC looked like they had a good entrance into the Co half of the pitch, but Co-Hawks good defense to work it back out. Hirayama tried to find Wheelock, and coming in to pick that ball off was Adams. As now it'll work to Proust. Proust has a little space to work. As now she stops one-on-one with Kenworthy. Overhead centering pass and a kick. It makes its way into the box, and now Wheelock's just going to clear this ball out, and that'll give Co a throw-in opportunity. It'll be Heffelfinger. Throws it in towards the corner as it's quickly working its way out. Ball goes out. Last touch on CUC. Good play there by Proust to kick it off the defender, as now they're going to rule it is in fact a goal kick for the Cougars. The near side ref initially pointed at the corner flag. I believe they overruled that quickly as CUC tries to charge ahead here. Ball works its way back to Saldivar, who will kick it out, give her defense a chance to reset here.
Very interesting dynamic between the two benches. I know we talked about kind of the roster size overall a little bit, but interesting enough that the Co-Hawks are kind of just more relaxed, seated on the bench, whereas the Cougar bench is kind of more fired up, getting in, trying to get the energy going, a little momentum boost, if you will, for their team.
Yeah, momentum is something Coach Garza's talked about in both of our post-game interviews so far this season after the 2 home and CUC 2-0 at home so far this year. This is their final home game before they hit the road for a contest at Elmhurst tomorrow afternoon, just about 20 minutes west of here. And then their next game after that, they'll head way west towards Iowa, right on the Illinois border, to take on the University of Dubuque. As that Dubuque game will be on September 11th on Wednesday. So the CUC team reaping the benefits of some home cooking so far these last few games before they hit the road for a pair of non-cons, as this ball knocked out by Hirayama. Throwing coming up for Heffelfinger and the Co-Hawks. Ball batted around. Wheelock will kick this out again, so Heffelfinger will walk back to the sideline for another throw-in. Heffelfinger throw headed by Wheelock. Here's Fernandez. Fernandez boots it down. There's Calderon. Calderon works around her defender. Good move by Itzel. Calderon still cornered. She stops on a dime to give herself some space. And now here's a loose ball. Artiega Vasquez. It's a race with Monroe. Good play by Monroe coming all the way out. But Allie Brown, the net is open, and the Co-Hawks clear it out. That was a gutsy play there by Monroe. That was a 50-50 ball between her and Artiega Vasquez. And luckily for Monroe, able to slide kick that ball away.
Extremely aggressive, to say the least, by the 5'8" goalie. Just kind of going out there trying to make a play.
Well, we see goalies be aggressive all the time, but that's usually within the box. I mean, Monroe was probably about the 20, 25-yard line if you're looking at the football field, which is a good 10 to 15 yards past the box line. So Monroe, I guess she figured it's either make that aggressive play or face a one-on-one against Arteaga Vasquez. So she gambled, and Monroe coming out the winner as this ball knocked out. Last touch by the Quahog. CUC just working down the field with their throw-ins.
It's a pretty huge play somewhat earlier in this game that could end up being a huge deciding factor considering these what has seen and looked to be a couple of lackluster offenses so far today.
As here is Izzy Fairless. She got a touch. First time we've seen her today. Yeah, it's a CUC team who, despite some offense the last few games, really struggled in that regard last year. They were 14th in the conference in goals per game last season, as they're hoping to find a little bit more consistent offense this game. As now we get a whistle blown and a foul issued on CUC. So free kick coming up here for the visitors from Coe College. As we hit the 22-minute mark remaining in half one, it's been basically nonstop action. We had a brief stoppage when Hirayama went down momentarily, but other than that, we've just had play and play as Hirayama takes down a Quahog. And now she'll get some words from the refs, and the Quahog player will as well. Referee maybe seen him get a little too physical for his liking. So free kick here for the Quahogs.
Yeah, good by the ref to kind of reel him back in. Certainly get a little chippy here in the halfway portion of this as we cross over the half portion of the first half.
Ball far sideline and just skips in front of Maggie Pruce. That would have been a beautifully placed ball. Pruce keeps it in bounds, and now she loses it out. You see her put her hands on her head, maybe a little disappointed with that play. She had that ball in the corner and just lost control of it. So throw in almost at the flag for CUC. Fernandez finds Fairless. Fairless can't control it, so now a deep throw in for Coe. As we see the CUC defense scramble to get set.
Yeah, it's kind of a pretty big mistake to make right there by the Cougars. Fortunate enough, it doesn't cost them right there, but we'll see on this throw-in right here.
Another throw in deep for Coe. This ball booted towards the center of the box and knocked away by CUC. Allie Brown keeps it going the other way. Coe, however, tries to put it back towards the box. There's a nice boot by Saldivar. Here comes Allie Brown, one of the faster players on this CUC roster, wearing the captain band. Had her senior day last year, and some time after that decided to come back as a graduate student. As here's Izzy Fairless, another speedster on the CUC roster. Remember the track and field team at Concordia. As that ball off the chest of a Quahog, and CUC racing to get control back. And this ball kicked around a couple times, knocked towards the Coe bench. Last touch by the Quahawks.
There's another throw in deep into Quahog territory, and they're just going to let it trickle down to give the keeper a shot here.
Good box out there by the Quahawks to make sure that play remains a goal kick for Monroe. No shots yet for the Quahawks yet. CUC still at 1 and nothing on goal. As here's a ball here, Yama racing for it. Ball knocked ahead, and this is a strong kick as it's going to keep on rolling into the hands of Brooke Sheriff. So all the way at the other end of the pitch, the CUC goalie gets her mitts on it and now gets set for a drop kick. Sheriff's kick makes it to right about mid-pitch. Ball loose and kicked back by the Cohawks. Here is Kenworthy. Kenworthy popped it up. I don't think she had control of it. Cohawks trying to center it, and Saldivar right there to stop it. It was Saldivar and Mac Adams, and Saldivar able to knock it back, and now out of bounds. Last touch by Co. Ball down the far sideline, and good speed here from CUC. They might have something as this ball goes out, and last touch issued on the Cohawks. So corner kick, coming up for CUC, number 2 on the day for the Cougars. See if they can get some offense out of this corner kick. First one really went nowhere. Headed away immediately by a co-defender. As Saldivar will do the honors for CUC. Saldivar, centering kick, got past the Cohawk, but another co-defender knocking it towards CUC side as Cougars trying to get control back. Flores leaves it off for a teammate.
It looked like on that clearing, Cougar bench was kind of expecting or asking for a little handball there, but no call.
As Monroe comes out, makes the aggressive grab right past Izzy Fairless, who was in the box. Maybe trying to get a nice deflection here. As now foot race, Fernandez is going to be the first player there, and she'll just help the ball get to her keep and Sheriff. And Sheriff, bad boot as knocks it out. Gets over the fence into the stands area. Working with it, working towards the corner. Ball picked up by Fairless. Fairless to Hirayama. Hirayama stops, finds some space, and dishes it over to the far side player in Jaimez. Ball up to Brown. Brown now looking for some space to operate. There's Hirayama. Hirayama waits, moves back a little bit, moves it to Saldivar. Saldivar up. Here's Jaimez. And Jaimez, her attempt to advance gets knocked out of bounds by Adams as we have a couple subs coming in here for the home squad. Hirayama will check out. Ortega Vasquez will check out as well. And it'll be number 19, Jennifer Reyna, who scored the game-winning goal against Spalding, as well as number 27, Maggie Schultz, freshman midi out of Lowell, Indiana. So a couple of freshman faces getting on the pitch here for CUC as Fernandez tries to get it up ahead. Here is Reyna as Reyna trips over the ball, still moves it forward for Fairless, and this ball kicked and deflected out by Fairless. Throwing coming up here for Co. And Schultz, makes the header, but Co is control right back. And a fight for the ball. It was Flores trying to pick it off. She does. Here's Allie Brown, loses it. Looks like she just overran it. Flores now back. Here's Jaimez. Jaimez stonewalls into her defender. And now we get a whistle blown and a foul called on Jaimez and CUC. So free kick coming up here for the Cohawks. Jaimez. Excuse me, not Jaimez. That's Flores, I believe, on the far sideline. Cougars trying to work it up ahead. Find it nothing there. Schultz. To Flores. Flores keeps it in bounds as she turns the corner around her defender. Schultz centering kick, and it's deflected off the chest of a Cohawk. Good defense there by Co. As they're trying to keep CUC's offense out. And now a free kick coming up here for CUC. This is the furthest free kick they're going to have all day, or have had all day, I should say. So maybe a chance to get some offense going here. We're going to let Saldivar do the honors. She's their regular corner kicker as well. Saldivar puts this one going towards the goal. Takes a bounce, still loose. Fernandez a shot. I think Monroe got a piece of it. Monroe, or the closest defender, just got a piece of it to keep it out. That was a beautiful chance for Valeria Fernandez. And Co's defense and keep able to keep it out of the goal.
Fernandez way down there, usually a defenseman, but finds herself in the keeper's box.
That was a great free kick from Saldivar. Bounced it in the box, loose ball, and again, Fernandez got a piece of it. But between Monroe and the closest defender, one of them were able to deflect it away towards the goal. As CUC very close to their first goal of the day. In the stat book, it's going down as a block for Co, so not a save. Some of our statisticians saying that it was a defender who got a piece of that Fernandez shot. Saldivar, far sideline to Flores. Flores has got some speed to her game. She's going to try and show it off here. Flores burns around her defender. Flores now tries to center it, and Monroe collapses on it. Izzy Fairless right on top of her, literally. As we've seen that a couple of times, Dave, of CUC is really putting the pressure on Monroe here. Every time Monroe makes a play, it seems that there's a Cougar within a couple feet of her.
Yeah, you kind of just see a handful of white jerseys just flying around, swarming the keeper anytime the ball's found in that region.
Ball works its way to CUC's side of the pitch where they will get a throw-in. As this ball will trickle out, which means another throw-in coming up here for the Cougars. Co, a member of the American Rivers Conference, the ARC. And for the preseason poll, Co was picked 7th out of the 9 teams in the conference. Teams that conference that includes Loris from Dubuque, Simpson in Iowa as well. You have the University of Dubuque. You have Luther from Iowa. You have Wartburg in Iowa, Central from Iowa, Nebraska Wesleyan in Nebraska, and then rounding out the soccer standings is Buena Vista in Iowa. So plenty of Iowa schools in this American Rivers Conference. And Co picked 7th of the 9 teams in the preseason poll.
Sheriff scoops up another one like standard play.
Yeah, Sheriff has not had to make a save yet, but plenty of those plays, like Dave mentioned, are where goalies really add their value, not just being able to save the ball, but maybe stealing a possession for your team, picking up that loose ball. Here's another bouncing ball, and there's Sheriff again. Sheriff will race to the top of the box, and now she stops to get her team set. She just rolls this one over to her right. Under 10 minutes to go here in the first half of play. 0-0 score between the CUC Cougars and the College Cohawks. We have yet to see a shot on goal, an official shot on goal at least. CUC did have a shot that would have gone on goal, but it was blocked by a co-defender.
Yeah, it's the closest action we've seen all day so far, as we're just under 10 minutes of this first half.
As CUC working it from the far sideline, it is Flores working on the right sideline from her perspective as her kick just lands in the hands of Monroe. No challenge there for the sophomore keep from Coe College. Coe on this roster right now has no all-conference members from last season. Their one all-conference member from last year, Ella Weber, no longer with the team. CUC kind of in the same boat. One all-conference player last year, Lonnie Burnell, has since moved on from the squad. As these are two younger teams, two teams who are trying to work their way up in the standings. Coe, again, picked 6 of the 9 teams, 7th, of the 9 teams in the preseason poll. Cougars, they were picked 10th of the 13 teams. So these are two teams who not slated to really make any noise this year, but obviously their coaches hope that they can prove otherwise.
Yeah, you have to remember, too, when they're picking those preseason polls, it's not always about kind of where they totally see you necessarily, but almost where you were last year and then kind of what you're bringing back to the table. Because a lot of those part of the committee, they don't do a whole lot of research as far as the talent you're bringing in, or there might not be a lot of data on those incoming freshmen. You can usually find the JUCO transfers or whatnot, but it really comes down to what you're bringing back from last year. And when you're like a team like Coe, who's 1-6-1 in conference play last year, it's gonna hard to be gifted anything higher than like the upper 2/3 of the conference.
Yeah, CUC picked 10th in their preseason poll. That is where they have finished in the past 2 seasons under Coach Eddie Garza. So, like Dave said, a lot of those preseason polls is based on what you've done as of late. And CUC, they've placed 10th 2 years in a row, so why not slot them for there again a 3rd year in a row? Of course, Eddie Garza and the rest of his coaching staff have high hopes that this team can make some noises. Here's a chance for Allie Brown, and just an errant foot there from Brown. Not sure what her intentions were, if that was a shot or maybe a pass. Whatever it was, it goes way out, and it'll be a goal kick coming up here for Monroe.
Yeah, Allie Brown, naturally a right-footed dominant soccer player, but tries to give a strong left-handed boot and just kind of misses that one just a little bit, or a lot of it, I should say.
Here's Schultz. Schultz ahead, and that's just out of reach of Brown's left foot.
Another really solid booming clearing from Coe. They're really establishing those clearances overall.
Sheriff just whiffs on that one. The ball is still bouncing around, and Sheriff will just knock it out. Not sure what happened there. It looks like she caught the side of the ball with the side of her foot rather than full-on contact. Just a bad angle and a bad placement of the kick from Sheriff, able to make sure no damage is done at the end of the day. But that was a scary bounce for Sheriff and the Cougars defense as Coe. They still have deep placement. Adams trying to work around her defender. Saldivar getting a little physical. No whistles. As Coe still handling it. They try and kick it near sideline for Heffelfinger. Instead, Izzy Fairless able to knock it out. But Coe not done yet. Here's Adams. Adams over in this bouncing ball towards Sheriff, and she'll grab it. And she'll immediately get the throw to start her team going the other way. Less than 5 minutes to go here in the first half. We are breezing through this first half so far. Minimal stoppages as these two defenses are just going back and forth, giving little to no breathing room to each other. So you see 3 total shots, nothing on goal. Coe still no shots total, as they're trying desperately to break through a stone wall CUC defense. Fairless will throw it in for the Cougars. Throws it back towards Fernandez, who takes her time. Back towards Kenworthy now, one of the seniors being honored today. In terms of that senior list, 7 seniors were honored pregame for CUC. It was number 6, Jacqueline Cassis, as we might have something here. Brief stoppage there by Luciana Moran Cruz. As CUC deep in their own zone, a centering ball. No one picks it up. CUC tries to do something, and now this ball cleared back out as it's working towards the far sideline. Fight for it between Saldivar and Saldivar, able to muscle her opponent off the ball, kicks it up ahead. And this ball is going to be knocked out and out the back of the pitch. Last touch by CUC. It was Sofia Cazares, who was in close pursuit, but unable to get there. So goal kick coming up from Monroe as we hit the 3-minute mark. Jacqueline Cassis, Pamela Saldivar, Val Fernandez, Melika Kenworthy, Julissa Diaz, Maddie Georgopoulos, and Lorena Jaimez were the 7 seniors honored before today's game. As these seniors and Coach Garza hope to give them a day to remember here on their senior day. The weather is perfect. Clouds scattered through the sky. Temperature in the 60s. Very cool day. Now all that CUC women's soccer needs to add to it is a win, as they are got a ways to go, though. 2 minutes to go here, a little over 2 minutes to go in the first half. Still no shots on goal from either squad, as Brown will knock it up ahead. And that ball gets by everybody and rolls out. Last touch by Brown and CUC. So goal throw-in coming up here for Co. And we just hear the 2-minute warning over the PA system. So if either of these teams want to do something in the first 45 of today's game, they got to get hustling. And this ball is going to roll all the way down and out. It'll be a deep throw-in for CUC.
Kenworthy kind of misses that one, but gets in the hands of Sheriff.
Yeah, good play there by Sheriff to come up and erase that bouncing ball, as we have 1:16 and 1:15 left to go here in the first half.
Sheriff's standard play style of utilizing that entire box to her advantage.
Yeah, trying to waste a little bit of time, knowing that, hey, we might not get down to the other end and score in a minute, but let's at least not give up a goal here. And at the very least, head into the halftime break, tied 0-0. Though here's a ball in the corner, and a fight for and a push there. No whistle. That was a physical push from Val Fernandez, and a referee who was right there swallowing his whistle. As now Fernandez knocks over another player, and now we get a whistle as Co is clamoring for a whistle. Fernandez seeing what she could get away with there, maybe.
As it draws some applause from the Cohawk fans and some palms up from the Cougar fans.
So 20 seconds remaining now. Co will have a good free kick opportunity to make something happen here. 15 seconds to go in the half. This ball put towards the goal. Sheriff, she kicks it away as she gets back up. Good play there by Sheriff. CUC clears it out. And that should take us to the halftime break. Co's not even going to attempt to get the throw-in, and that'll do it. So 45 minutes have gone by us here in Concordia Stadium at the campus of Concordia University Chicago, and what do we have to show for it but a 0-0 tie between the Cougars and the Cohawks. It's senior day here for women's soccer, and they have 45 minutes to try and get a win out of it. We will have more Cohawks and Cougars women's soccer action for you when we return on the Cougar Sports Network in just a minute.
CUC Coaches Weekly. Edition of CUC Coaches Weekly Women's Soccer. Coach Garza, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
Well, it's been an exciting couple days for your team, back-to-back victories, and as you mentioned, the first time in a decade that your team pulled away a victory in the home opener, So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
We're going to talk about those games in just a little bit. So let's start with Sunday's game versus Spalding. It was a 1-0 game, so a really close affair there. What did you see from your team there to pull that away?
Yeah, in that matchup, Spalding, a tough opposition. They went to nationals the previous year, and I thought it was a good test for us at home to see how we can match up, because I think a lot of our teams in our conference play, similar styles, and I think after our loss to Augie, we can only improve from there. I think we made a lot of mistakes in that game, and the team, gave the bare minimum of effort and competitiveness, and that's what the expectations always are. And because they did that, and then they capitalized on the opportunity that we had, and a great goal from Jenny, and we celebrated on the field for our first win of the season.
And so then let's fast forward to just yesterday, a 2-0 victory. So a little bit more offense there, but still consecutive shutouts from your goalie, and that earned her the NAC Defensive Player of the Week. So can you talk about Brooke's performance in those two games to put zeros on the board?
Yeah, I mean, Brooke is works hard at practice, has a lot of leadership qualities, and has always showcased her ability with us. So I have full trust in her that she can come up big in key moments in the game, and she did that against Spalding. And then yesterday didn't get a lot of action, but showed that she knows how to, help dictate the tempo of the game, control the speed, and contribute to the win, from, time management to distribution. What you want is to have confidence in your goalkeeper, and as she continues to play the way she is, that's the more and more the team is just going to feed off of that confidence.
Absolutely, and I want to touch on something you mentioned in last week's video, and that was possessing the ball. In the game on Wednesday, in the part that I was watching, it was very clear that your team had control and possession of the ball for at least most of the second half that I was able to watch. And so is that something you saw progress throughout the week, and especially since last year, as a point of emphasis from your team? Were you able to do that, or is there still room to grow?
Always room to grow. The team, as I mentioned previously, we had a lot of bad habits. We were continuing to break and to establish the new core of our identity. For us, possession is crucial because that allows us to create opportunities. When, in essence, as you saw against, I'm forgetting who we played.
On Wednesday?
On Wednesday, sorry.
Yeah, Ripon.
Ripon, I apologize. I had Spalding in my head. Against Ripon, we created more shots. We created more opportunities on goal. So that's why the team is being taught that, and now they're starting to see the bigger picture of how that can, lead us to success.
So this Saturday is going to be your senior day. So an early senior day for you. Can you talk about those seniors? Allie Brown coming back for fifth year, got a goal yesterday, right spot, kind of at the right time type of vibe there in order to put that second goal in the back of the net. And so you can talk about the seniors and their contributions since you've been here, their growth, and then how you're going to recognize them on Saturday.
Yeah, all the seniors, this will be their third season with me, so I still, before I took over the job, they played one season under the previous coach, and so they started to adapt to me, and they've made tremendous progress and have been contributing a lot. All of them, from Valeria Fernandez to Allie Brown, Melika, they've all grown tremendously, and have also grown into leadership roles. Speaking of Allie, I was super pumped to know that she wanted to come back and play her 5th year. She's played a key role for us for the past 2 years, and she's continued that this year. And I think, like her, I think we have unfinished business, and she saw and believes that the team has a lot of potential. So she wants to be part of that future success.
Absolutely. Well, we look forward to watching your team play Saturday, coming out hopefully with another victory and continue your strong start to the season. For more information on CUC athletics and the CUC women's soccer program, head to cucougars.com. Coach, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Roll Cougs.
Welcome back to Concordia Stadium on the campus of Concordia University, Chicago, as we get set for second half action between the Co-Hawks and your Concordia University Chicago Cougars women's soccer teams. And Dave, we got a barn burner on our hands here. 0-0 score so far in today's game. Both these defenses playing some stout play against the opposing offense. 3 shots for CUC, 1 for Co. That one Co shot did go on goal, while CUC still looking for their first shot on goal. Brooke Sheriff with 1 save so far today. 6 fouls for CUC to Co's 3. 2 corners for CUC to Co's 1. And that's basically the story of the game so far, has been the stout defenses. So Dave, we see the 2 squads work their way back out to the pitch. Cougars will now be attacking left to right on your screen, Co right to left, and I mean, just get down to it, Dave. What does CUC need to do to break through this Co defense? The CUC defense has been doing what they've been doing all season. Only 1 shot allowed in that first half, and that shot on goal was, it was a far-out free kick. So I think Sheriff basically saw it all the way in. So what does the CUC offense need to do now to break through this Co defense?
Yeah, I think we kind of discussed it a little bit during the first 2 home games of the season, and then kind of seems like a continuing thing of name of the game is just pressure. The more opportunities they're gonna have based on the total amount of time they're spending on the enemy side of the pitch. I think the name of the game is just get your shots up, kind of control the ball as much as you can. At the end of the day, you want to be a surgeon. You're not trying to be a butcher. So you got to kind of just slice through the defense a little bit, be a little bit more concise with your passes. I think that's going to help a ton.
Well, we'll see what happens here. CUC controls it in their own half of the pitch. 45 minutes to go, even though we need some time up on the clock. Clock currently reading 0-0.
In the third half as well.
In the third half. There we go. So we're still in the third half, but now 43-54 left to go here. So didn't know you could have 3 halves of something, but learn something new every day, I guess. As CUC will kick this one out of bounds. Throw-in coming up here for Co and Carly Helstensgaard. First time we've called her name, so Coach Kulata and the Co-Hawks maybe throwing some new personnel out there. As here's a race for the ball, and Sheriff dives to make the grab. Close pursuit was Mac Adams. Adams had to jump over Sheriff to avoid hitting the goalie. Hitting the goalie in the box would be a no-no for the Co-Hawks, as Adams does control it now. And good defense there from CUC. This ball is headed away by Saldivar. That was going towards the CUC goal. Instead, it's going to almost roll out the far sideline. Adams decides to play it rather than resort to a throw-in. As now this ball trickling again towards the far sideline. CUC does control it. Good move here by the Cougars. Tried to knock it up ahead for Wheelock, and that ball, kind of a bad touch by Marley Rivera, a freshman out of Chicago who has appeared in 2 games so far this year. So both coaches maybe trying to get some different personnel out there, trying to see if they can shake things up in the second half.
Yeah, I think if the naked eye looking at the box score, you look at it and you're, how is there only 1 total shot on goal throughout the whole course of the match? And then if you're sitting here taking a look, watching the whole game, you really start to notice, especially if you watch the CUC women's soccer team all year, it's all about the defense for them, and it really is kind of impressive the display they put on the pitch game in and game out.
As a high header hits off the crossbar of the uprights, the football field goal. So that ball launched all the way up. It was considered out for Co, but now they get it right back, almost get it right back. Good fight there by Hirayama to get control. Speaking of football, CUC football in action today for the first time, playing down at Greenville University, currently trailing the Panthers 21-9. As CUC football, new era under first-year head coach Chase Hankins getting underway down in Greenville, Illinois. And need a comeback if they want to start that Chase Hankins era on the right foot. Meanwhile, back here Concordia Stadium. As this ball passed ahead by Coe and knocked all the way back by Saldivar. Ball takes a couple knocks, as now it works to Adams. Mac Adams stops to get her defender in front of her. And she is struggling here, as that is some heavy pressure from Elle Wheelock. And now ball out, last touch by the Cohawks, so Wheelock will get set for the throw-in. Less than 41 to go here in the game. Remember, a rule change that was instated last season, which is there is no overtime in soccer anymore in this level of soccer, especially during the regular season, at least. Obviously, playoffs, you need a winner. But the score at the end of 90 minutes is the final score. It can be 0-0. It can be 5-5. Whatever that score is, when the clock hits 0 after the second half, that is the final score of the day. So a 0-0 tie is very much a real possibility the way these two teams are playing. And a handball called on Coe. The whole CUC bench shot their hands up to try and get that call, and it worked. And now CUC will have a free kick at the 28-yard line on the football field, as it'll be Saldivar. Only one Cougar is back towards the defensive end. That is Kenworthy. And Saldivar for the free kick. Every other white jersey on the field is towards the box. Saldivar, the kick. It's going to go over the box and out wide right of the goal. Missed opportunity there for Saldivar and CUC offense. You at least got to put that on the goal.
Yeah, very aggressive. Very aggressive from Saldivar right there. But, I mean, when the chances and opportunities are rather slim, she kind of found that she had an opportunity and just decided to go for it. Nothing wrong with aggressiveness.
So the way opportunities are coming for CUC, you might want to see something a bit more productive out of free kicks. But less than 40 minutes to go now, as we will have a co-throw-in. It will be Houston's guard, a freshman out of Cambridge, Minnesota, who is playing in game number 2 of her collegiate career, as this ball will roll out, last touch by a Cougar. Houston's guard throw in. She waits, and now a little loft. Tried to get it to Maggie Pruce, a fellow freshman. Ball out again. Houston's guard, another throw in coming up. And here Yama muscles Pruce down to the ground from behind. Whistle blown. So free kick for CUC. For Coe, excuse me. Foul on CUC. Number 7 for the Cougars. So CUC maybe a little undisciplined so far, David. Hasn't bitten them yet, but 7 fouls to Coe's 3. That's not a box score differential you'd like to see if you're Coach Garza.
No, definitely not. But at the same point, it kind of shows that they're playing as an aggressive game overall, and that's kind of that pesky defense that sometimes goes from being a little pesky to a little more muscly, as you say. I think that there's nothing wrong with it. It's a fine line that they're definitely towing for sure, though, as far as what is considered just aggressiveness and what's just sloppy.
Throw in from Coe, as there's here Yama, who committed that last foul, playing closely to Dessa Snyder, freshman out of Lago Vista, Texas. So another freshman who is getting some time in this game. She's appeared in all 3 games so far this year for Coe now. But again, Coach Kulata and the Cohawks trying to get some different looks here, as they're trying to score just their 2nd goal of the season through 3 games, and maybe put an end to the CUC winning streak of 2. Throw in right in front of the Coe bench from a Cohawk is knocked around by Wheelock. She sends this down. It'll go out of bounds. So another throw in a little farther away from the CUC goal for the Cohawks. As you can see, Coach Culotta standing up in front of his chair with the action right in front of him. Getting a good look at it as here come the Cohawks. That ball sent ahead and booted down by Saldivar. And that's over a bouncing head. CUC almost had something there. Good defensive play from the Cohawks. That was Ainsley Barnes. As this ball will just be issued towards Monroe. Monroe has to come up and make a play. She had 2 white jerseys right in front of her. And, Dave, that might be the way. Sorry to bust out the government name there. Dave, that might be the way to break this spell, as we can talk about that in a second. Here's Adams. Mac Adams, a shot saved by Brooks Sheriff. No problem for the junior keep in goal for CUC. But, the point is that I know you mentioned, CUC maybe being a bit more precise offensively at the top. Maybe it's going to take something like that, just kind of a chippy ball, a bad rebound, a bad bounce, whatever it was, and just a flood of white jerseys. Somebody gets a piece of it. That's usually what needs to happen when, the pretty play, if you will, isn't getting the job done. Sometimes might not be pretty, but you just kind of got to get one of those dirty goals if you need to just get something going.
Yeah, for sure. I think also you take a look at the goals the Cougars have had this season. They haven't been particularly pretty. They've kind of just relied on the defense, and then when they got their chance, they find a way to put the ball in the net, whether it's coming off of a mistake from their opponent and just kind of making them pay overall, or just a little bit of dumb luck, one might say, as it kind of rattles around and they find themselves with getting their toe on it and putting it in.
Yeah, I think the only goal that I would describe as, a designed goal almost, as we have a corner kick coming up for Co. So we can continue this discussion in a second after this good chance from Co. The centering kick. Someone got a piece on it, and it just keeps rolling back to the corner. Another attempt there from Bruce, and CUC's defense will finally clear this one out, as Co had a couple options there and nothing comes of it. But that first goal CUC scored against Ripon, it was Saldivar to Julissa Diaz goal, which was just a beautiful corner kick from Saldivar and a picture-perfect header from Diaz. That was really a good, pretty goal, quote unquote. But then the second goal of that game was that high bouncing ball that the Ripon goalie kind of batted down, and Allie Brown just shot in and got a piece of it to trickle it past the goalie. I mean, that's how CUC's gotten some of these goals so far this year. And again, it might not be the prettiest thing. I know Coach Garza would obviously like to see the game plan work and see those designed offensive plays work, but sometimes you just got to get a little scrappy and get in the middle of everything and just hope for a good bounce here or there.
Yeah, and I think the way you kind of find yourself in those situations is just going back to the idea of the pressure, find yourself on the offensive end as much as possible, and I think at the end of the day, that's just kind of how it's going to work, is spending as much time possible on that side of the pitch.
Well, and to Co's credit, they've done a good job of maintaining pressure on CUC this half. Co, a plenty of time down in CUC's end of the pitch, which was not the story for most of the first half. CUC was the one maintaining good offensive pressure. Now it's the Cohawks who are looking to get something going here, as a loose ball, Monroe, again, all the way out of the box to make a play. That one a much safer play, as here come the Cougars, still in control of it. Flores kicks it back. Hirayama. Excuse me, that's Arteaga Vasquez. As Arteaga Vasquez gets control back, tries to get around her defender. And now here's Hirayama. Hirayama over. Ball knocked by Wheelock. Wheelock runs into her defender, fight for the ball, and Co comes away with it. So good job by Co's defense to try and get the ball out. Bruce, and that ball kicked back by Saldivar before Bruce can get there. Kick behind by Malia Compsey Jr. out of Des Moines. As another player that we're just calling out for the first time in Compsey. Again, Culata now reaching into a shorter bench in this second half. Trying to get some different looks as a run into the ref, and here's Allie Brown. Allie Brown puts it up ahead. Here's Flores. Flores, she loses the ball, and that was a great opportunity for CUC, as now we get a whistle, and the referee having a chat with Indigo Torres. So what had happened, Torres ran into the ref, and instead of just trying to work around him, she stopped playing and said something on the pitch. And so the referee having words with her, and obviously it's kind of unfortunate you run into a referee. It's referees should be doing their best to stay out of the way, but if that happens, you can't just stop the game to start complaining to the ref. You got to keep playing, because CUC, they got a good chance out of that play.
Yeah, that was just one of those more opportunistic situations where they just kind of find themselves with, wow, we got an opportunity here, and unfortunately they kind of lost the ball a little bit. But
yeah, Flores let the ball get a little too far in front of her that Monroe was able to come in and make a snag. As now we see Torres getting pulled from the game, being subbed out, a CUC player as well. I'm sure she's going to have a little conversation with James Culata. As I stand corrected, she gets a high five from Coach Culata and then walks to the end of the bench. But a little more composure required in a case like that. Either way, nothing bad comes out of it for Co other than a near goal for CUC. CUC still spending some time down in Co's end. Arteaga Vasquez, and now Fairless, and her kick runs into Arteaga Vasquez, who's trying to get it to Hirayama at the point. CUC centering kick, that ball knocked away and going out of bounds out the back of the pitch. So, corner kick coming up here for CUC. And it'll be Saldivar. This is exactly the same spot CUC got their first goal against Ripon, was a far corner on the right side of the field from Saldivar. Julissa Diaz is not on the field, so it won't be her, but this is the exact circumstances that CUC got their first goal against Ripon. See what they can do here. Centering kick, it's a good one, and a boot away by Co. Ball's still loose. Flores trips over it, and now it works its way towards the CUC bench. Good defense there by Co to stop a really pretty corner kick from Saldivar. And here's Flores. Flores just whiffs on it. Ball still loose. Goal is in! CUC score! Valeria Fernandez on her senior day gives her Cougars a 1-0 lead. 28-32 left to go in the game. You want to talk about opportunistic, Dave? That's it right there. Fernandez, loose ball, Monroe out of position. She capitalizes, gives her team the 1-0 lead.
Yeah, it looked almost like the keeper right there for Co just kind of tumbled over, tried to make a play on the ball and missed it on their first chance and wasn't able to recover to find it. And when there's that many white jerseys in the area, it's going to be bad news for the Co-Hawks the majority of the time.
Yeah, and we've seen and we've caught it out a couple times as a bouncing ball works its way to Sheriff. She's going to control it with her feet, and now she waits. She's going to waste some time here, and Sheriff loves doing that play. I think opposing teams have to just absolutely hate it, but Sheriff will just wait to pick up the ball until the defenders decide to pressure her. But we've been talking about the aggressive plays of Monroe all day. I mean, towards the start of the game, she came out 15 yards past the goal box to make a play. And, I think it was kind of sitting in the back of your mind if that was ever going to bite her. And it finally does there. She comes out to make the play, isn't able to grab the ball. CUC and Valeria Fernandez get the goal out of it.
Yeah, you can only flirt with fire for so long. Eventually it's going to burn you, and it burned them. It burned the Co-Hawks for sure in that spot.
So a costly mistake. It was CUC's first shot on goal. So, as we saw against Spalding, CUC only 1 shot on goal. They've made the most of it so far. They still have 27-21 now, but this is the spot CUC wants to be in, Dave. You don't want to get complacent. Like, you still want to put offensive pressure on the board, but you know that this team's a lot more comfortable now saying that, hey, we got that goal. We got the 1-goal lead. Now we can really just rely on our defense doing the thing that our defense does best, which is keep the ball out of the goal.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things about it, though, too, is their first shot on goal ends up finding itself in the back of the net, and you got to wonder, obviously, that's great for right now, and it's deja vu all over from last week Sunday, but you got to wonder, how does this kind of strategy and lack of shots on goal, how does that play out when you're facing higher level talent and teams down the road when we get down to conference play and whatnot? Because at the end of the day, that's the coach's goal, is he wants to make the conference tournament and go from there, and that's the whole team's game plan. But
as Flores, some shifty footwork to try and slice through the defense, eventually gets knocked over, and we have a very good opportunity here for CUC, a free kick just about a yard past the goal box. If Flores, got pushed about a yard further downfield, it would have been a penalty kick for CUC. Instead, Co kind of looks out. Here comes Saldivar. Saldivar curves it, and it's headed away by Co. Here's a shot from Flores, and it's wide right. Just by a yard or so. But CUC, good opportunity, as they're going to say that will be a corner kick for CUC. So another opportunistic chance here for the Cougars. Corner kick and easily headed away by Co. No white jersey was in the vicinity of that corner kick. It was Sage Schwartz who knocked it away, and now knocking it out of bounds is Maya Schweiger, sophomore out of Lafayette, Colorado. A couple of Colorado products on this Co team, as Fairless will knock one towards the net. Monroe comes out, plays it off the one hop, and will try and get her team going the other way, as they have less than 25 minutes now to find the equalizer and avoid their 3rd straight loss on this young season.
Yeah, you can definitely hear the bench is just way more into it now for the Cougars. You can hear them all the way from our perspective, and it's just it's hard to try and explain momentum and kind of quantify it, but you got to believe that it is a real thing. Is every time that they're touching the ball, you can just hear the bench getting a little bit more fired up.
So as the ball goes out, we'll get a throw in for Co. Meanwhile, a couple substitutions for both squads. A couple fresh faces as we are crossing the halfway point of this second half. CUC 1-0 lead thanks to a Valeria Fernandez goal on her own senior day. It would be quite a memory to make for her and her squad if CUC can hold on defensively for another 23.5 minutes. Another goal would be nice as well, as Arteaga Vasquez just moves it backwards to Malika Kenworthy. CUC knows that they can start wasting some time here now that they have that 1-goal lead. As here comes Co. Ball placed for Sarah McCohen. And she gets picked off by Izzy Fairless. Fairless tries to nutmeg her and still fighting it. Eventually goes off Fairless's foot and out. Would have been a nice shifty play there from number 7 in white. He's unable to control it as she's still fighting for it, and now we get a flag on Fairless. I get a whistle on Fairless, I should say. So free kick coming up for Co. Decent placement as well. See what they can do with it. They stack the box towards the far end. This ball curving towards the goal, and Sheriff, no problems whatsoever.
Yeah, that kind of seemed like one of the better opportunities CUC College has had all day.
I find that hard to believe that was the play of just a curved shot towards Sheriff. No other Cohawk even in the vicinity. And as we saw with CUC, in a case like that, you just got to cause some chaos. You got to get bodies towards the goal, maybe hope for a deflection, a bad rebound from Sheriff or something. But a play like that is as routine as they come for a talented goalkeeper in Sheriff.
Definitely. I think, yeah, you got to assume that Coach Gulata for Co, that can't possibly be what he's drawing up in that kind of scenario. But at the end of the day, I think for CUC College in these last 21-plus minutes of play, I think the main thing they're going to have to come down to is chaos might be their friend in this scenario. Just pack the box, get as many crimson jerseys in there, and just kind of find a way.
As they might have a chance here, and here will be a shot wide left. And you could see the disappointment out of Prue. She worked her way to the middle of the box. It was a prime shooting position, and she just shanked that one wide left as Sheriff will get set for the goal kick now. It's been a packed day of CUC athletics so far here at Concordia and away. 10 a.m. bright and early this morning. Women's volleyball, a 3-0 win over Blackburn College. First game of the Maroon and Gold try. Women's tennis opened up their season here at CUC at 10 a.m. as well. Lost that game to the Milwaukee School of Engineering 5-2. Women's soccer playing Co now. Football at Greenville. And score update for that, 21-9 Greenville, just about to hit halftime down at Greenville, Illinois. Women's volleyball taking on Fontbonne now to close out the Maroon and Gold Triangular. CUC up 1-0 in the match, 4-2 in set 2 currently. And then men's soccer will round out the day, a 3 p.m. date at the University of St. Francis down in Joliet, as this ball knocked out of bounds by Carly Halston's guard. Throw in for Fairless. Ball works its way, tried to work its way back to Fairless. It's knocked out. That was Artiega Vasquez. Plenty of fresh faces on the field for CUC, trying to get some fresh legs out there as they're just attempting to hold on to this 1-0 lead. Less than 20 minutes to go here in the second half. Kick ahead, and it is palmed down by Alyssa Huckabee.
Yeah, I think Huckabee just kind of felt in the back of her had eyes in the back of her head and saw the flag go up from the line judge.
So probably safe if she did that too. I think that ball had a target on the front of her face, so maybe best for her that she just handed that one if it was out or not. And a play here by Sheriff to try and waste some time. Drop kick, less than 19 to go in the game. Ball knocked up. And a whistle. That'll be on Halston's guard. Came over the top of her CUC opponent. Ball left near sideline for Jaimes. As Jaimes will boot this one down, Monroe will come out to make the easy grab. And she's got to get her team going the other way here. About 18 minutes to play in the game. Co, 3 shots on goal, 3 saves for Brooke Sheriff. Ball put ahead, stopped there by Co. Halston's guard will just kick it out, and CUC will have a throw in here. This throw in off the foot of Schweiger and out, so another throw in. whistle blown on CUC, so Co will start heading the other way.
Looks like we'll got a couple subs, too, for the Co-Hawks.
13-31, Sarah McCohen and Halston's guard leave the pitch. Meanwhile, 12 enters. That is Mac Adams, as well as number 2, Rebecca Allers, 2 of the starters of today's match for Coach Kulata. And is trying to get some of his number 1s back in the game. Here's Allie Brown. That ball knocked out. Morena Jaimez on her senior day finds Fairless. Fairless able to tip it back to Jaimez, back to Fairless, and Fairless, she loses it and it goes out. So throw in for Co, 16.5 remaining.
You're starting to see the Cougars become a little bit more passive as the clock slowly chews down. It kind of is turning more into just a little bit of keep away. Just keep it going. Keep it on this side of the pitch. We're willing to have you take over the ball as long as it stays on that side. And then they become a little more aggressive, and you start to see that Cougar defense on their side of the pitch.
Ball works its way back to mid-pitch. Co in control. As Barnes handles it, they're going to work it all the way back. Here's Schweiger. And Schweiger, she gets tripped up over the ball. Good chance here for Alyssa Huckabee, and her shot is blocked as she's taken down. Batista, she gets tripped up as well. CUC, a couple of good opportunities, and the lone Co-Hawk standing defensively, able to play some good defense. As CUC gets nothing out of it. They still maintain possession, though. Ball ahead. Here's Huckabee. Pops it up. Batista. And whistle blows. I believe offsides is the call. So as we hit the 15-minute mark, Co will have a free kick here.
Yeah, I think that turnover over there had a great opportunity for the Cougars to expand on the lead, but you could kind of see that they were just a little too passive, just not too focused on the attacking side, and that's kind of how they lost that opportunity right there.
See what happens here as Rebecca Allers gets set for the kick. Kick is going down. Header there by CUC. Now high ball here. Fairless, not a great reception as she loses it. And now trying to come away with it is Torres. This ball put up ahead, and here's a chance for Pruce. One-on-one with Sheriff. Pruce looking. Shot saved by Sheriff. Oh, my goodness.
What a play indeed.
Sheriff kicking out the left foot, gets a piece of the ball. That is as beautiful a breakaway as you're going to get from Maggie Pruce, and Brooke Sheriff comes up huge. That might be the play of the day so far.
Yeah, that's huge right there from Sheriff. I mean, that might be one of the saves of the year right there. I mean, that not only just based on the insane talent that she reflected and showed right there, but also just the impact it would have had on the match overall. I mean, with clock winding down right there, under 14 minutes to go, and the Cougars just barely hanging on to that 1-0 lead. That had a huge, tremendous impact on the course of this match.
As now we get a stoppage here. Not sure what's going on as Coach Garza's talking to a couple of his bench players as we get the clock reset. I think that's what they were talking about, is trying to find where the clock should be. Interesting series of events as now we get another whistle. So a little confusion as we are under 14 minutes to go here, as Co just had probably the best goal opportunity anybody's had today, period. Even the Cougars, who have a goal, that was the opportunity for Co. And Maggie Pruce, I think, here's a corner attempt from Pruce, and it's going to go towards the goal. Sheriff comes out to make the grab, curbs any offensive opportunity for Co. I will say this about that shot attempt, Dave. It was an amazing save by Sheriff, and I think Pruce actually helped her out by waiting too long to take the shot, because as Pruce gets closer to Sheriff, Pruce has less room to shoot around Sheriff. It's all kind of an angles game, and credit Sheriff, too, for coming out to meet Pruce. If Pruce had taken that shot maybe 2 or 3 steps previously, she would have had a lot more room to work around Sheriff. So, credit Sheriff for coming out, making that fantastic left foot save. And for Pruce, I think that's going to be a lesson in maybe shooting a little sooner where you have more net to shoot at rather than waiting where the goalie can just get right up in front of your grill and you run out of space.
Yeah, I think that's a learning moment for just anybody watching or anybody here on the field as well. That's one of those opportunities that you might find a way. You only get that kind of opportunity maybe once all season, and it's kind of, for you as an individual, it's kind of a tough situation to just kind of miss out on it right there. But huge play by Sheriff, kind of sprawled out right there, just doing whatever she could to keep the Cougars in the lead, and that's exactly what she did.
Yeah, it's the same idea of if you ever watch a shootout in hockey or a breakaway, the goalie always comes out to meet the shooter. It's all about taking that angle away, and Sheriff did that beautifully, and then you add in a very athletic left foot save. And again, that is maybe the play of the game, and that will go down as one of the best saves we'll see all year. As, again, not only was it a beautiful save, but it preserves a close 1-0 lead for CUC. So CUC will have a free kick deep in Co territory. An insurance goal would be beautiful here for CUC, especially considering how close the Co-Hawks came to evening up this game. It will be Kenworthy to take the free kick. And she puts it towards the goal, and Monroe comes out and grabs it. Good play there by Monroe.
It's very interesting to see the way that Monroe plays her style of keep as well as compared to Sheriff. We saw earlier Monroe just kind of comes all the way out of the box sometimes to make a play, whereas Brooke Sheriff is kind of just finding herself more a little laid back but still approaching the ball. Just a little bit more developed, one might say. She's got a little bit more experience in the crease.
Sheriff has a year over Monroe. Sheriff the junior, Monroe a sophomore. As the ball in CUC territory, Co looking for an equalizer. Here's Mac Adams. Tried to get a little too fancy. She loses the ball. Coming away with it is Co. And here's an opportunity and a shot. Sheriff to save. Eliana Manning, the sophomore, had a good opportunity there. I just don't think she got a ton on that shot. That was a pretty weak shot off the left foot.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that you'll see, especially in a lot of Division III women's soccer, is you'll kind of see a little underdeveloped on the left foot, and I think that can have a huge impact on plays like that.
Yeah, Manning just didn't get a ton on that shot, and Sheriff just had to shuffle over and bend over to make the save, as the Cougars will now put in number 5, Allison Rushman. And Rushman so far this year, 2 games played. Coach Garza, Dave, he's showing a lot of trust in these freshmen. I mean, it is a 1-0 lead with 10 minutes to go as Batista puts that ball ahead for no one. It'll be Monroe scooping it up. But it's a 1-0 lead with 10 minutes to go. And Coach Garza is still putting in players as there's a Cougar on the ground. That was a hard hit. As now she gets up. That is Schultz. But players like Rushman, players like number 10, Michelle Marecki, who we haven't seen a ton of so far this year. You have other players. I mean, Batista, sophomore, she doesn't, get a ton of regular minutes. these are all players. Alyssa Huckabee, another one who, these are players. They're not getting a lot of minutes so far, but it doesn't matter to Coach Garza. He's got 10 minutes to go, 1-0 lead. He still has a lot of faith in all of these freshmen, these underclassmen, to put them in a tight game where usually you would think this is where you want your seniors, your juniors out there to protect that lead. But Coach Garza really has that trust in his younger players.
And just as you say that, Allie Brown, the grad student, checks in for a freshman. Very interesting dynamic as to how it all works.
Yeah, getting Brown out there to help out with all the youth as this ball takes a bounce. That was around number 26, Presley Alvarado, another CUC player who, doesn't have a ton of minutes on the season, but is getting the nod here with a 1-0 lead, less than 10 to go. This ball kicked, and Melka Kenworthy will try to clear it out. Here is Marecki. Marecki up ahead. Edsel Calderon, senior on her senior day, finds Marecki. Marecki just loses it. Maybe a little too close for that pass from Calderon, but Allie Brown able to scoop up the loose ball, and she's going to let this roll out. Last touch by Co.
Smart play by the grad student right there, just kind of letting the clock trickle down a little bit more, just kind of jog a little gently for the ball rather than allowing to scoop a fresh ball from the game day crew.
All about wasting that time, especially with the 1-0 lead. Ball up the far sideline. Now it takes a bounce. Allie Brown pops this ball up, and it'll go out of bounds. So throwing coming up here for the Cohawks. They got to get moving here. 8.5 minutes as Coach Kulata makes another substitution. Seeing a lot more subs as we hit the end of this game. Players getting tired. Not only that, but coaches wanting to get their matchups, maybe continuously throw in different pieces to try and throw the other team off. As a throw in here from Co. Ball booted back towards the CUC side of the pitch. This is Manning working with it. Dishes it at far side. A nice play there by Alvarado. And, taking a tumble was Pruse. She's been all over the field. And it'll be a throw-in for Alvarado right in front of her home bench. You're quickly approaching the end stages of this game. Again, no overtime. So whatever the score is in 7.5 minutes, that is the final score. I think at this point for Co, your best hope is you can just get a tie out of this. Avoid losing your third straight game to open up the year. Wow, CUC 7-18 away from a third shutout in a row. It would be an impressive feat for a team who is quickly becoming known for their stingy defense. That header, Calderon got knocked down because of it. Adams, and getting in front of it is Calderon. Good speed there from the senior, as now she gets tripped up, and there's a whistle. And so CUC, a good free kick opportunity here, good placement. And they'll let Melka Kenworthy, the senior on her senior day, do the honors. Kenworthy gets some instruction from Coach Garza as she now gets set. Kenworthy's kick towards the goal and off the crossbar of the upright. Second time we've seen the football upright crossbar been hit today. As that ball, since it hits the football field goal, is ruled out of bounds. So it'll be a goal kick here from Monroe as we get a stoppage of the clock for some subs. Every second matters if you're Co. Collision there, no whistle. That was Marley Rivera being knocked down. As here's a loose ball, and it's going to work its way all the way to Sheriff. She'll pick it up, and she'll start wasting some time. Going to take her sweet time on this kick. And she'll work it. Now you got to get the clock going as now it goes. Would have been nice to get it going when Sheriff was holding the ball. So Coe might have gained a couple seconds there. As here's a loose ball working out and stayed in bounds. Nice nutmeg there from Marecki, and CUC will get a throw-in. Good play there from Michelle Marecki.
Nifty footwork right there.
Right through the 5-hole. Kept it in bounds just enough that it would eventually be Coe knocking it out of bounds. As that was a throw-in. From Allison Rushman. And now here comes the College Cohawks. Kick down, Allie Brown receives it, and she'll kick this one out of bounds. Waste a couple more seconds off the clock as we're going to hit the 5-minute mark to go here in the game. 5 minutes for College to find an equalizer. 5 minutes for CUC to hold on for their third straight win on Senior Day as well, as this ball will be knocked towards Sheriff, and she will just watch over it and wait to get pressured as now she scoops it up. Four and a half minutes remaining in today's match. Coe deep in CUC's end of the pitch as this ball is rolling out. It was the last touch by the Cohawks, so it'll be a throw-in here for CUC.
Starting to turn into more so just of a track meet, just a whole lot of running up and down the pitch, not a whole lot of shots or anything rather of that matter.
I think this is the epitome of who wants it more at this point. Both teams, they're running on fumes, especially as you said, Dave, as this turns into more of a track meet than anything. As this might be an opportunity. Here's Manning. Manning, a shot, and just over the crossbar. A yard away from being a goal. And CUC, man, the skin of the ball are able to keep their 1-0 lead. Good shot there from Manning, just a little too high.
Really good thought, though, with the realizing that the keeper for CUC is only about 5'2". Best spot to target is going to be the top shelf.
Whistle blows on CUC, a push. So free kick coming up here for Coe. And we're going to get a whistle. As I think the ref said she went a little too fast for their liking.
Called her on the very smart senior, notices what's going on, points it out to the ref. Could burn off about 10 seconds.
Does burn off quite a bit as we are now under 3 minutes to play here. Allie Brown. That ball bounces. Here's Rushman. Allison Rushman will knock it out. Was it off the Cohawk? And it was. So CUC throw-in. Good play by Rushman. Wait till the Cohawk was right in front of her before knocking it off her shins and out. As it'll be a CUC throw-in. And this ball knocked out. That was off the foot of Heffelfinger. And now we get a stoppage of the clock for some subs. You see the refs do that as we hit the end of the game. They don't want clock to be wasted because of substitutions. Usually you let the clock run through that, but when you have a team who would like to burn off as many seconds as you can, it'd kind of be unfair to give them unlimited time to sub in and out. So CUC gets what may be their final substitutions of the day as we have less than 2.5 minutes to go. Coach Garza has changed a lot of personnel over the last half of this half. Maybe trying to keep the Cohawks off balance as CUC's just trying to waste that clock down to 0. This ball working towards the far sideline. Mac Adams falls down, no whistle. And Adams falls down again. So it looks like she might have been sharing some words with, that's Maddie Georgopoulos, a senior for CUC. Ball works to Adams. Adams gets pressured from behind, able to keep it in before she takes a tumble. And here might be a chance for the Cohawks, but good defense by CUC. There's a shot at the end, but Sheriff hugging the right pipe. No problem for her. As now Sheriff can waste this clock down as we have 90 seconds to go. Sheriff bombs that one down, makes it way to mid-pitch. Good header by Itzel Calderon. Kept the ball moving. Cohawks do get control, though. They send it down. Here's Rushman. Rushman pressured from behind, knocks it out. Last touch by Rushman. So a throw in. Good pressure there from Dessa Snyder as we get a 1 minute left to go. And now Bruce, you can see her. She's taking a knee. I think she got the wind knocked out of her. And they're just going to let them play on as Bruce is still struggling, hands on her knees. And now we get a whistle. No stoppage of the clock yet. It will be a free kick. And this one hurts if you're Co. You're getting a free kick, but this is going to be 10-plus seconds wasted off the board.
Yeah, burned about half the clock remaining right there.
As Manning, the free kick is towards the box, and it's a roller towards the goal. Sheriff falls on it, and Sheriff, she plays this wisely. She can waste about all of this clock, especially with her kick. Less than 10 seconds to go, and this should seal the deal for CUC. A kick to CUC's bench, and that'll do it. A 1-0 win on Senior Day for the Cougars. Brooke Sheriff and the CUC defense, they do it again. Their third straight shutout, and the Cougars are winners of 3 straight. And they get to send their seniors home happy today that they got to say they won on their Senior Day.
Safe to say that the Cougars have defended the home turf on this 3-game streak.
3 wins in a row, all coming here at Concordia for CUC, capped off with a Senior Day win over Co College. It was Valeria Fernandez, the senior, on her Senior Day who got the lone CUC goal. And the Cougars come away with the shutout win. Let's take a look at the box score. Valeria Fernandez given the goal, no assist dished out for CUC. 8 shots for the Cougars, 9 for Co. 6 shots on goal for Co. 2 for CUC. 6 saves by Brooke Sheriff for CUC. 1 save for Monroe and Co. A kind of chippy game, 11 fouls for the Cougars, 8 for the Cohawks. 4 corners apiece for each team, and then 1 offsides for the Cougars, 0 for Co College, as CUC now improves to 3-1 on the year, 3-0 at home, while Co falls to 0-3, 0-2 on the road. But Dave, before we start to wrap things up here, let's get your final thoughts on a big Senior Day win for the Cougars.
Yeah, tremendous Senior Day win. Just for the emotional side, you have quite a crowd here today for the seniors. I think the main takeaway is obviously that defense has been electric overall. I think when you have everyone just playing so physically and sound overall, and then on top of it, there's nothing better than a hot goalie. When Sheriff is just red hot, tearing it up in the crease, she's making every play she needs to, and that's their 3rd shutout in a row. She's only allowed 1 goal on the season through four games, and that is going to be one of the big factors if they plan on making a run this year.
CUC back in action tomorrow afternoon, 2 p.m. start time at Elmhurst University. Coverage for that game can, of course, be found at our website, CU Cougars. I want to say thanks to everybody making this CU Cougar Sports Network production possible. Down at the field, we had Eric Perry working the table, Alan Mateo with the camera, taking some great photos as always. Up here in the broadcast booth, Lindley Southern working production and cameras. And then, of course, Dave Dimeling joining me on the call all afternoon. We are under the direction of our graduate assistant, Sydney Lloyd. our newly minted assistant sports information director, Corey Welch, finishing up her first week on the job, doing a great job so far. And we are under the direction of our sports information director, Kayla McLeod. But don't go anywhere just yet. We have a post-game interview with head coach of the Cougars, Eddie Garza, coming up shortly after his team's big 1-0 win over Co College. So don't go anywhere. Coach Eddie Garza, post-game interview coming up shortly here on the Cougar Sports Network. Peter Borkowski back here on the Cougar Sports Network, and I'm joined once again by head coach of the CUC women's soccer team, Coach Eddie Garza. And Coach, becoming used to doing these post-game interviews with you and your squad, their third straight win, a 1-0 win over Co College, and it was senior day for you and 7 special seniors on this squad. So kind of just talk us through that, just the emotions of today, honoring those seniors pregame and then coming away with another tightly contested 1-0 win over Co today.
Yeah, I mean, the seniors have put a lot of sweat and tears into the program, and it's always fun to honoring them, but I mean, they've set a good foundation of the success that we're having right now. They've been through the thick and thin of it. When I first got here, they believed in the process, and they've been fighting and continuing, and the work is starting to show. So very proud of them, and they really drove the energy today.
Right. And again, I have to bring up the defense and Brooke Sheriff. What more can you say out of her and her squad? Another shutout, third straight shutout. What's going so well? Obviously, Sheriff's playing out of her mind. That breakaway save she had was one of the plays of the year. It's going to be one of the plays of the year by the year's end. But what is the rest of the defense doing so well that you're limiting these opportunities, that you're getting these 3 shutouts in a row? Just what's going well on that end of the pitch right now?
Yeah, I think to focus on Brooke, I think she was the player of the game. Val's got the game winner, but I mean, Brooke kept that shutout streak going, and with every game she's being consistent. She's getting better and better, and the team just continues to get more confidence in her. The back line, the foundation back there, Val, Pam, and Mel, I mean, a lot of experience back there, a lot of confidence. And, again, they fall into the same thing. If they feel like they're playing well and confident and have high self-belief, they're producing, which we can see. We're limiting shots, controlling the tempo, and they're really contributing to our success.
Right. And last thing to wrap up here, Coach, it's a quick turnaround for you and your squad at Elmhurst tomorrow afternoon, 2 p.m. start time. Just what are these next 24-ish hours look like? I mean, obviously you need your players to rest up, a lot of emotions, but what do they need to do so they can turn around and go put up a competitive effort against a competitive Elmhurst team tomorrow afternoon?
Yeah, we got to carry the momentum. So it's, we can't take the break off right now, and, these are the moments in the season that, we really get tested. So
So, we like you said, we have a doubleheader, and we're gonna rest up. We'll review some film and get ready for Elmhurst. But, yeah, excited for it.
Definitely. Well, Coach, congrats on your
Thank you.
1-0 win today. Go enjoy it with your 7 special seniors and the rest of the team. CUC 1-0 win over Coe College. Back in action tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. at Elmhurst University. Coverage can be found at our website, cucougars.com. But that'll do it for today's Cougar Sports Network presentation. And until next time, this is Peter Borkowski signing off and wanting to say, as always, go Cougars.